This evening, Essequibo woman in police custody after confessing to the fatal stabbing of her reputed husband. CDC donates resources to support Venezuelan indigenous migrants in Linden. Electric bikes cause concerns for Guyana police force and road users alike as accidents increase. In the region, Peru's protests, indigenous communities call for BOLUARTE's resignation, and internationally, China-Russia ties. Beijing benefits from no-limit friendship. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, electric bikes are becoming a matter of concern for the Guyana police force and other road users increasingly. Decisions are being pursued between Guyana Revenue Authority, the Guyana Police Force, and other sister agencies regarding the requirements for importation, registration, licensing of rider and vehicle, and related liability insurance for these types of vehicles. Since the importation and use of these types of vehicles, several road accidents have been reported involving them. Last Friday, a 70-year-old girl lost her life on College and Public Road in East Coast Demerara while she and her 16-year-old sister rode an electric bike. They were hit by a motor lorry. According to Traffic Chief Dennis Stevens, 7 persons would have died using electric bikes last year. Not being a holder of a driver's license and lack of knowledge on using the road contributes to these accidents. Also making the headlines, a brutal stabbing led to the death of a 27-year-old man by his reputed wife at McNabb Lima Sands, Essequibo Coast on Sunday, February 19th. Dead is Anthony Chivlal, a resident of Lima Sands on the Essequibo Coast. The victim's 18-year-old wife, who is now in police custody, has since reportedly confessed to the crime. Reports said that on Saturday, Chivlal and his wife attended a birthday party at the home of the woman's grandmother, Bernadine Williams. However, the two got into an argument and the woman reportedly left the party. She returned later that night in search of Chivlal. According to the woman's grandmother, Williams, around 2 a.m. on Sunday, she heard a commotion in the bottom flat of the house and saw her granddaughter repeatedly stabbing Chivlal in the chest area with a knife. Although she suspected that the man was dead, Williams did not intervene out of fear of being caught in a family feud. The suspect then fled the scene and was later arrested by police at her mother's home in McNabb. Police found 1 stab wound on the victim's left chest area, 1 in his lower right chest, and 1 in his left hand. Chivlal's body was taken to the Saudi Public Hospital where it was examined and pronounced dead. A post-mortem examination is now pending. The police have confirmed that the wife is in custody and has confessed to murdering Chivlal. However, the motive for the crime remains unknown at this time. On a different note, in a move aimed at providing much-needed relief to a group of Venezuelan indigenous migrants living in Linden, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo Region 9, the Civil Defense Commission has donated a number of resources to support their well-being. The intervention comes on the back of the mayor of Linden raising concerns about the migrants' living conditions, which are less than ideal in the town's industrial district. With an average of 50 households, many consisting of women and small children, the migrants have been living in a location temporarily provided by the mayor. To assist with proper water storage, the commission has agreed to donate 3 water tanks, considering the area has access to potable water. Additionally, collapsible water containers, food hampers, IOM baby kits, and a significant number of towels and bath soap has been distributed. There are at least 10 pregnant women among the migrants. Within the next 24 hours, the water tanks will be handed over to the migrant area through the mayor's office. The indigenous persons in the area will be closely monitored for health and safety reasons. The Civil Defense Commission has taken this measure to alleviate the living conditions of the Venezuelan indigenous migrants. Stick around when we return. Linden businessman arrested with over 2,000 grams of suspected cannabis hidden in backyard, and tragic accident claims the life of a young motorcyclist on Vicinjon Road.
It's Clarence Mash Sale, where you get 25 to 50% off jeans, jerseys, short pants, crop tops, sneakers, slippers for both men and women, and a whole lot more. MASH is back, and our MASH sale is bigger than ever at Clarence on Wednesday, February 22nd. Clarence, always keeping you in style.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. Police in Regional Division 4A is investigating a fatal accident that occurred in the early hours of this morning, February 20th. The incident, which claimed the life of 21-year-old motorcyclist Anthony Perry of West Rijnveld Estate Scheme, occurred on Vicinjon Road in the vicinity of the Botanical Gardens. According to initial inquiries, Perry was traveling south on his motorcycle, allegedly at a high rate of speed, when he lost control and fell off his bike. The impact caused him to collide with a utility post on the eastern side of the road, resulting in severe head and body injuries. The EMT responded to the scene, but unfortunately they were unable to save the young man's life, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Perry's body was transported to the Memorial Gardens mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. In other news, a 45-year-old businessman of Block 22 spotting area in Wismar, Linden, has been arrested by the police after they found over 2,000 grams of cannabis buried in the backyard of his business at Honey Camp Landing in the Middle Mazaruni River. Police officers went to the suspect's business premises and found a 5-gallon bucket buried in the backyard. Inside the bucket, they discovered 2 bulky parcels containing 7 smaller parcels, all suspected to contain cannabis leaf seeds and stems. The businessman was informed of the offense he had committed and was cautioned, but he denied involvement. The suspected narcotics were weighed in his presence and amounted to over 2,400 grams. The businessman was escorted to the Isano police station where the narcotics were tested and sealed and lodged as evidence. The police are continuing their investigations into the matter, and the businessman is currently in custody assisting with the investigations. Don't go away after the break. Qatar's LNG exports help Europe avoid Russia, and China-Russia ties. Beijing benefits from no limits friendship.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
It's Clearance Mash Sale, where you get 25 to 50% off jeans, jerseys, short pants, crop tops, sneakers, slippers for both men and women, and a whole lot more. MASH is back, and our MASH sale is bigger than ever at Clearance on Wednesday, February 22nd. Clearance, always keeping you in style.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Anger amongst Peru's indigenous people is increasing after growing sentiments of discrimination and exploitation. Protesters are calling for President Dina Boluarte's resignation, and many demonstrations are held within communities that mainly voted for impeached President Pedro Castillo. Al Jazeera's Lucia Newman reports.
In the former Inca capital of Cusco, native Quechua and Aymara musicians perform songs on traditional instruments believed to date back at least 5,000 years.
These activities allow us to generate funds to send to the capital for those of us who are maintaining the struggle there.
As never before, Peru's indigenous communities are organizing and rising up. 2 months of roadblocks and protests have paralyzed much of southern Peru and revealed an underlying rage that goes beyond the initial anger over December's impeachment of a president this region had voted for overwhelmingly. The capital, Lima, is only 600 kilometers northwest of here. But for Peru's indigenous peoples, it's a different world, one that they tell us discriminates them. And not just recently, but for decades, in fact, centuries from the time of the Spanish conquest. Peru is a centralized country where the lion's share of wealth and power is in Lima. Protesters insist that Peru's gold, silver, gas, and oil all come from this region, but that the indigenous communities get crumbs in return.
Since we have so much wealth, we should have access to technology, modern techniques, the internet. Instead, we continue working the land with oxen and picks. But we've had enough. We won't give up until we're heard and treated like Peruvians who have rights.
At every roadblock, protesters sing a song that has become viral against the new president, Dina BOLUARTE. Dina, assassin, the people repudiate you. How many more deaths do you need before you resign, it says. A reference to the more than 50 people killed in recent protests, the majority of them in this region. Almost all of these demonstrators are subsistence farmers. They've no access to potable water, sewerage, or electricity, or decent health services in schools. Many are illiterate and don't speak Spanish. At the Ayavari roadblock, 70-year-old Leonarda insists she wants to send the world a message.
We are not stupid. We have brains, ears, eyes, hands, feet. But they treat us like ignorant peasants. We've been orphaned by the government. We have to fight for our grandchildren.
Beyond the current political conflict, the lid seems to have been lifted on Peru's deep class and racial divisions that are making many of Peru's 4 million indigenous citizens feel disenfranchised and exploited by the rest. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Puno, Peru.
Internationally, European countries have been working to reduce their dependence on Russian energy since it invaded Ukraine a year ago, and with Qatar being the world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas, Al Jazeera's Victoria Gatembe looks at its growing role in Europe's energy market.
The industrial city of Ras Laffan in Qatar, where gas is cooled to minus 160 degrees Celsius and turned into liquid. Docked at Ras Laffan port, a tanker is ready to deliver supplies to the world. Europe has been switching to liquefied natural gas, or LNG, since Russia invaded Ukraine last year.
Europe committed to replacing about 155 billion cubic meters a year of what Russia was sending to Europe before the invasion. And they wanted to replace about 100 billion cubic meters of that by the end of 2022. By our estimates, we've seen they've been able to do that last year, and most of that replacement has come from sourcing alternative supplies of LNG.
Qatar is the world's largest supplier of liquefied gas, exporting more than 81 million tonnes a year. That's around 21% of the global LNG export market. It's ramping up production in its North Field. That's part of the world's biggest gas field. It's on track to produce 126 million tonnes per year by 2027. It's good news for countries like Germany that are trying to wean themselves off Russian gas.
Qatar Energy, headquartered here in Doha, struck a deal last year with Germany to supply LNG. It agreed to export 2 million tonnes annually for at least 15 years from 2026. The deal will supply 2.7% of Germany's annual gas needs. It's a small percentage, but sends an important message.
Asia has long been Qatar's biggest export market for LNG, but now Qatar wants to supply more to Europe.
The energy dilemmas which European countries face are extremely serious, And there is no denying that Qatar has certainly been able to leverage its gas wealth to Doha's advantage throughout this conflict.
The United States and Algeria are also supplying Europe with LNG, but as the continent seeks other suppliers, analysts say Qatar is likely to play an increasingly dominant role. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera, Doha.
And finally, China maintains it is neutral in terms of Ukraine war and has called for dialogue to end the conflict. However, Beijing has also reaffirmed its no-limits friendship with Moscow. Al Jazeera's Catherine Yu reports.
China and Russia may not officially be allies, but they increasingly appear to be marching in step. 1 year on from the invasion of Ukraine, Beijing continues to tout its partnership with Moscow as one without limits. And joint military drills like this one have become commonplace.
China-Russia relations have maintained a healthy and stable momentum of development and cooperation in various fields, and this has yielded fruitful results.
One of those fruitful results is a potential upcoming trip by President Xi Jinping to Moscow in spring. The Chinese leader counts Vladimir Putin as a close friend, and the two have met in person 40 times, including in Beijing, days before Russia attacked Ukraine in 2022. But there's more to this than just friendship. Western sanctions have prompted trade between Russia and China to soar, especially in energy. Moscow is Beijing's largest supplier of oil and a major supplier of piped and liquefied natural gas.
China really is a big winner in terms of having more access to cheaper now Russian gas and Russian oil. There's also a realization in Beijing that because it does really have the upper hand now in terms of, a source of investment for Russia, that it can more or less call the shots.
Despite providing Moscow with significant economic support, Beijing insists it's neutral when it comes to the war in Ukraine. It's called on the two sides to engage in peace talks. But US researchers say Chinese state-owned firms are providing Russia with sensitive technologies to equip its war machine.
The data explicitly says that these parts are being sent to Russia for the use of the S-400 and M system helicopters. So we know that they're very clearly stated for that use. We also understand that in general, this bilateral trade is growing. And so we believe that there might be some connections in both China's effort to bolster its military capacity, as well as Russia's effort to bolster its military capacity with Chinese goods and parts.
Beijing calls these claims hyped-up fiction and says its ties with Moscow are based on non-confrontation.
Beijing's refusal to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine has frustrated Western attempts to isolate the country. Experts say international focus on the war has proved useful for China, providing an ongoing distraction from its own military activities in the South China Sea and around Taiwan. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
This has brought us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D with forecast. This concludes today's Headline News Update. Tune in tomorrow, Tuesday, 7 p.m. with our next broadcast. For more news and updates, you can visit our Facebook and YouTube pages. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.